Quick side note before I begin this video, I'm by no means an expert in this field. I'm literally only second year, so I can only give my experience and how I know to explain things. So if something sounds off or confusing or wrong, please let me know in the comments, and I'll pin it also so that everyone else can see. And so that I can make any corrections in the video if necessary, and so that I can learn for the future. Thanks, guys. Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. So a couple people have been asking me to go into more detail about what I actually do in my computer science courses at university. I've decided to make a video explaining what I've learned during first year computer science. So as of right now, I'm basically at the beginning of my second year. So I know that I can discuss first year courses with you guys, but not so much second year courses until probably the end of the fall semester. Obviously, what I cover in my courses and my textbooks and stuff aren't necessarily going to be the same as what you guys might when you go to university for computer science. I don't know how different computer science programs are between universities, but I can let you know specifically what I'm learning and a general overview of the computer science specific courses that I was in for first year. We have usually 2 semesters, which are 4 months each, so 8 months a year of university, and per semester we usually have 5 courses. Sometimes people take 4, sometimes people take 6, but generally it's kind of an average of 5 courses per semester. So over the entire year in computer science at the school that I go to, we take 4 math classes. So one of them is linear algebra, one of them is introduction to mathematical proofs, and 2 of them, 1 or 2 of them is calculus. You kind of do a prerequisite test to see what your calculus, what your mathematical ability is at, and then depending on how you score on that, you either take calculus that's condensed into 1 semester, which is what I did, or you take a calculus that's split up between 2 semesters, which would give you 4 math classes throughout the year. I had more room for electives because I took the calculus class that was condensed into 1 semester. I'm not really going to go into detail about the math classes because they're pretty much generalized no matter where you are. I'll leave the list of classes down below so you can look into them, but there are so many general outlines of what you should be learning in these first year math courses. What I am specifically going to go into are the 2 first year computer courses that I have. So if you were counting, I've covered 6 courses out of 10 that are directly necessary for my program in first year. The other 4 courses, you can choose electives. If you're trying to get a minor, that's where you would use that. The 2 computer courses that I was in, the first semester, I'm pretty sure was just called Intro to Programming, and the second one, which is second semester course, is called Data Structures. I'll briefly cover what I went through in both of those and the textbooks we used and stuff. So in my Introduction to Programming class, it was exactly that, very self-explanatory introduction to programming. They assume that you don't have programming knowledge prior to post-secondary. So I took programming in high school, but not all schools have that. So they kind of assume that programming is something that you're brand new to. So I'm pretty sure that there are a couple languages that are kind of easier to learn with. Which you'll probably use in first year. I personally used Python. So Python, it was just really easy to learn with, and I think that's why they chose to use that one for the first year course. In my Introduction to Programming, we basically covered the basics. We covered loops, decision structures, so if structures. I think we did a little bit of string manipulation, which if you're not aware is working with words and stuff and different characters. And I believe we also did some file input-output stuff, but not a lot. So this is the class where you would learn how to output hello world to the screen and you would write your first program. So the textbook that we used with it was called Starting Out with Python. Any textbook that you would use should be specific to your programming language, just because overall algorithms can be very similar, but how the actual language implements them is very different depending on which language you use. But yeah, that was the Intro to Programming class. It was very basic stuff. We kind of learned generally about algorithms and how to derive algorithms and use them and make programs a little bit more efficient, but it was very, very basic. The second one that we did was called Data Structures, and I struggled a little bit with this one at first. In data structures, I think we were still using Python, so the same textbook, but it wasn't really required because we would have already had it and already read through most of it. In our like introduction to data structures, we learned about BigO notation, which is, I don't want to explain things incorrectly, a lot of them you can Google and probably get a better explanation than what I can give, but BigO notation kind of refers to the efficiency of the structure of your program. So we got an introduction to BigO notation and kind of how to calculate it depending on which structures you used. And then we got into the actual structures. So we learned about queues, stacks, binary search trees. We learned different sorting methods. We did some hashing. We worked with linked lists. I think that covers the structures that we worked with. And then we also got an introduction to recursion. As far as using the data structures goes, we also learned how to implement them using arrays and linked lists. If you don't know what a lot of these words are that I'm saying, because you're not in computer science yet, so you haven't been exposed to them, I will leave kind of a general overview of what I remember learning in these courses down below so that you can look into things. If you're accepted somewhere for computer science and you're going to be going into computer science, I would recommend kind of looking into recursion and the data structures that I mentioned, like binary search trees or like hashing. I would recommend looking into them in the beginning because they're kind of difficult concepts to grasp depending on like how your brain works. I found recursion pretty easy to grasp, but binary search trees just didn't sit well with me for some reason. So if you have the opportunity, definitely look into those in advance because it will make your life so much easier. And half the reason that I'm here is, first of all, to motivate people in computer science and STEM industries, but also to give you a heads up for kind of what to expect so you can better prepare yourself. Because I know a lot of people are like, they want to know what they're getting themselves into, so hopefully this gives you like general idea. Those two courses were the main first year computer science courses. I think that first year computer science, they cover a lot of the math courses. Like my first year is much more math heavy than the rest of my years. My upper years, there's like 2 more math classes maybe. So I think that's why there's less actual computer science courses in first year. But yeah, if I had any advice for first years, it was, first of all, go back and check out that video that I made last week about math and computer science resources, because a lot of the things on there, like Khan Academy and Code Wars, are kind of fun ways to get you started into computer science and math without it seeming like you're like studying hard all the time and you're not even in the program yet. Khan Academy and Code Wars are both like pretty fun platforms. Just prepare yourself. It's a lot of problem solving, which is one of the main reasons that I'm in computer science, is I just love problem solving so much. But yeah, back to the topic. Hopefully I covered the basics. Yeah, the math classes are easy to look up. They should be generic for whatever school you're in. If you have any more questions on specifically what I covered in courses, I don't know how super specific I can get without like basically teaching you the whole course and giving you the outline. But I can definitely give you some pointers and give you like the general concepts that we covered. But yeah, if you guys continue leaving lots of questions, I will probably get around to making a Q&A because I get so many questions and I love answering them kind of personally, but I get usually a couple per day, be it like on my Instagram or on my YouTube, so it would probably be easier to just collect those and do them all in a video. So let me know if you would like me to do that as well. As usual, any questions, leave them down below. Any video suggestions, leave them down below. I'm tired. I'm gonna go work on my assignment now. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to smile, and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye.